presence on on YouTube and Facebook, and there we are. All right. So this is Mugdha Pradhan. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the founder of iThrive. I'm a functional nutritionist. I work on making diseases disappear. And today on my Wellness Warrior show, I have Dr. Dhairya, both on Insta and YouTube. He's there right now. And the reason why we invited him, he will introduce himself in a minute, but I actually met him because I needed a consult with him when I had a really, really horrible neck spasm that happened. And for those of you who are seeing the show for the first time, what iThrive's Wellness Warrior show is all about is it's really about creating a counter narrative to the fear mongering that happens on mainstream media. Because we really want to show stories of people who through their work, their magic, with whatever knowledge and skills they have, they're actually bringing about so much healing, so much hope, and so much wellness in the world out there. And this show is just about showcasing these amazing people and bringing them here to light, so that mainstream media fear mongering can have a counter narrative. So today we have Dr. Dhairya on the show. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience?
Thank you very much, Mugdha, for inviting me. First of all, I'm thrilled to be live with you and your team, iThrive. You guys are doing an amazing job, and I really love your work. So, I'm Dr. Dhairya, but you can call me Dr. D. My name is hard to pronounce, and I'm founder of Fitnat. But I like to call myself as Chief Physical Therapist in Fitnat here. I work with people, I help them to treat their injuries, which is mostly surrounding fitness. And my job is basically to help people correct and prevent lifestyle disorder as well. And I also help athletes upgrading their fitness level. So that is what I do. And I am working online since last 4 years. So that is what is Fitnat.
Yeah, so to find online physiotherapist, a doctor who can help with the body and the movement and the pain that arises out of the lack of movement is pretty phenomenal. So, how did you choose this field? What made you get into the work you're doing? What's the backstory there?
So, I began Fitnat in 2017, and the main idea that I had is I love my village, basically. And I want to live in my village, and I want to help people who are present everywhere except for my village. So I already had the concept of working online since we began Fitnat in 2017. And the best thing about online is it's that you can be wherever you are and you can get the work done, you can get the treatment done. That's the best thing. And people are just realizing the necessity of working online since the pandemic began, but we are working online since 2017. So I already had this thing in mind. I wanted to connect with. I love to connect with new people who are from different places, and that was the concept that I already had in mind. So that is the backstory behind working in Fitnat.
But why did you choose to be a physiotherapist? What made you come into that field?
Okay, I was always into exercise and fitness. I was a powerlifter back in 2016 or 17. You can say I was into heavy weightlifting, and I always wanted to help people to develop a habit of exercise. Everyone knows exercise has huge benefits, but no one does it. So I have one dream, and that is to help people develop a habit of exercises. And by the word exercise, that doesn't mean that burpees and all that thing. Exercise is a form of physical activity that helps you to live your life in a better way. That's it. So that is a dream that I wanted to live, and for that reason, I chose to become a physical therapist.
Wow, that's amazing. So, as you rightly said, right, like everyone knows it's important to exercise. Like even I know it's important to move through the day. Kashish, who introduced you to me, keeps telling me that I should not sit so much. I should move. And theoretically, it's a great idea. No one disagrees with it. But in today's times, and we all know sitting is the new smoking, right? So we really know that, like. The fact that being sedentary through the day is extremely unnatural for the human body. And in your work, what have you seen as an outcome of that? Like you've been doing this work online for the last 4 years, so I know you work with athletes also. So what's the demographic you work with? Who are the kind of people you work with? Let's talk about that first, and then talk of the kind of.
Definitely. Currently, we have two main physical therapists in our team. One is me, and another is Dr. Nidhi. My work is with people who are somewhat related to fitness industry. They can be of any age, but I majorly work with people who have already developed a habit of fitness and exercise. And Dr. Needy works with people who have never exercised in their life. She works with the ones who are sedentary enough. So this is how we have segmented our work. Both of us face certain kind of challenges depending on our demographics, but majorly when it comes to me, I work with people who are between the age of 20 and 40. There hardly anyone comes about the age of 40 who has developed a habit of exercise. So major group of population that I work is between the age of 20 to 40 years old. And they are somewhat related to fitness. They can be anything. They can have a sedentary work or they can be an athlete, but they are somewhat related to fitness. They want to get better into fitness. That is the demographic that I work with.
Okay, interesting. And so in our line of work, so we work with people with any kind of health dysfunction, right? And most of them are driven by lifestyle. Very rarely do we actually work with somebody who has an acute issue, but over do that as well. However, see, people come to us with all sorts of aches and pains also. Sometimes it's gut related, like actual gut pain and the stomach bloating, gas and constipation and all of that kind of pain. But often people come to us with actual pain in joints and pain in muscles and neck stiffness and all of that. So, do you see like an increase in that since the lockdowns have become this kind of pain? And what is your takeaway from that? And what are your recommendations for that? What do you do?
Definitely. See, I have observed an increase in lifestyle disorders since last 1 year or since pandemic even began. Most of the common problems that we have seen is non-specific joint pain. The word non-specific means that there is no specific conditions that they are attached with. There is no specific pathology in their joint, but still they are experiencing joint pain. And we call this as non-specific joint pain. The most common areas with non-specific joint pain are back, ankle, neck, knee, and shoulder. We call this as BANKS. BANKS.
Okay, thanks.
Back, ankle, neck, knee, and shoulder. So these are the common spots where people have are developing more of pain. And even if and it is not only driving people crazy, it is also driving the physician crazy because there is no pathology underlying. Okay, there is no X-rays are normal, the MRIs are normal. Still, they are not able to understand why the reason behind pain. So that is the rise that we have seen since last 1.5 years. And Mugdha, you won't believe the main cause behind this kinds of non-specific joint pain is decrease in physical capacity or decrease in physical activity.
Okay.
So this is one of the major contributing factor behind non-specific joint pain.
So our topic for today is our aches and pains really trying to help you heal, right? So then I want to go a little deeper into that. See, for us again, like because we work with people with health dysfunctions, we tell them pain is always a signaling mechanism from your body. Your body is trying to tell you something. And more often than not, we found like when people are deficient in magnesium, people are deficient in vitamin D. Even if there is a thyroid dysfunction, right, there is musculoskeletal pain that comes out of that. But we look at things from the clinical perspective. We look at blood work and then we try to analyze it like that. That's the language we understand. You understand the body and the language it's speaking directly, right? So when we say that today's topic is our joint aches and pains really helping you recover and heal, are they your friends? Like, are they teaching you something? How do you expand on this topic?
Actually, I didn't understand the question, Mugdha. How do I expand or explain on this topic?
How do you explain, right? Like, so when so we are saying that your joint aches and pains are basically your body is helping you heal, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
How is that happening? If I tell someone your pain is helping you heal, they'll laugh at me and they'll say I'm mad, right? So
first definitely. See, the first misconception that I try to break is that people think that pain is equal to physical damage, and that is not true. Pain is a signal that there can be a physical damage. Pain is not physical damage. Pain is just a signal that there is a chances of developing physical damage. In fact, I explain to people that pain is the only thing that protects you from developing injuries. That is physical damage.
Right.
So when it comes to fitness industry, the most common form of physical damage that people experience are muscle strain, tear, or joint sprains, or all this kind of stuff, and sometimes they develop overuse injuries with respect to certain joints. So we explain that you felt pain because your body is trying to bring a change in you. Body is requesting a change in your lifestyle. Either body is requesting a change in your lifestyle, or it is requesting a change in your habits, or it is requesting change in your physiology. That is what your body is signaling for. Body is not telling you to kill that pain and continue your lifestyle as you were doing it before. That is the thing that I try to make people understand. The main thing is that the main mistake that people make is that they feel pain, they kill it, and they live their lifestyle as they were living it before. And that makes no sense because it over a period of time develops into some form of injury or physical damage. So pain is a signal that you experience when there is development of certain processes which are harmful, and we should not kill that signal. We should understand that signal and try to change our lifestyle or change our habits according to that signal. That is the main message that I explain.
How does somebody interpret that signal? Like for me, I was lucky to have found you through Kashish, because Kashish, also who's my personal trainer, understood that the pain would not let me really work out well in the gym, right? And
definitely.
So how, if you could give people some tips to understand this language of pain and what the body is really trying to tell them, that would really be helpful.
Okay, so first of all, before I explain pain, see, pain is multifactorial, Mugdha. There are lots of factors. Before I explain pain, I will have to explain the theory of stress and adaptation.
Sure.
Okay. No matter what we do in life, no matter what exercise we do, it is some form of stress to our body. And we are only able to get better at those things if we are able to adapt to that stresses. Right? This is stress, this is adaptation. You only get better if you are able to adapt to the stresses. No matter what exercise you do, no matter what you eat, you only digest those things that you only adapt to those stresses, right? That only makes you better as a result. So this is the thing that I try to explain to people. Pain is felt when either you are undergoing a lot of stress, or even if the stress is proper, the body is not adapting. So that is a signal that I try to explain it to them. No matter what you exercise, no matter what you do, right? It is stress, but your body is constantly adapting to that stress. If this process is not happening, then you feel pain. Okay. So either you are doing a lot of things, either you are doing things which is outside your capacity, or either you are doing things but you are under recovering with those stresses. So the things that whenever someone experiences pain, see, it is very normal to feel pain. Let's take the pain scale. Okay, 0 means there is no pain and 10 means there is maximum pain. If I cut my finger, it is 10 out of 10 pain. So I explain people, if the pain felt is less than
it's a cut finger that's rated as 10.
Yeah. So if people are feeling pain under 3 or 4 out of 10, 30 or 40%, then it is very normal. We are going to feel that pain. It is very normal to feel that level of pain because our body is constantly regenerating and degenerating, right? Okay. If we didn't feel pain, we would be we will be living without any limits. So it is very normal to feel pain up to the level of 3 or 4 out of 10. Everyone
when
feels
you're
it.
stressing your body out, not normally, not when you're just sitting, right? But like, let's say you exercised and you created some form of stress in the body, you're going to experience some kind of pain in the body. That's what you see.
Without any reason, Mugdha. Even if you're sitting or sleeping, you can feel pain up to 3 or 4 out of 10. It is very normal.
Okay.
It is normal to feel that. Okay. But Mugdha, if the pain felt is increasing over a period of time, if the pain felt is increasing in certain activities, if the pain felt is getting tougher or bigger on a day-to-day basis, then we have to address the pain. Then we have to take a pause. We have to see what things are we doing in life. What are the stressful things that we are doing in life? Either we have to reduce the stress, or we have to form certain changes in our lifestyle where we can manage that stress.
Okay.
So that is, see, for example, let me give you an example. Let's take an example of back pain. Okay. Imagine a normal person who is working for 5 hours in an office, and he or she suddenly starts experiencing back pain. Okay. The back pain is 3 out of 10, so person is not bothering that. Okay. But over a period of time, after let's say after a week, the pain is increasing up to 6 out of 10. Pain has increased up to 6 out of 10. Then the person has to take a pause and see if he is sitting a lot, if he is exercising a lot, or if he is developing some strategies where he is able to reduce the stress. So these are the things that person has to observe by taking a pause. Right. So that is what we do in Fitnat. Right. Whenever a person comes to us, we don't analyze the pain. We analyze the person. We analyze their life. Right. That's also a mistake that most of therapists do, is that whenever someone comes with pain, they just analyze the pain. They forget the life the person is living. So we have to analyze both of these things. We have to analyze the pain, we have to analyze the person as well. And once we analyze their life, once we see their psychological stress, once we see their social stress, once we see their lifestyle, And when it comes to lifestyle, there are also four pillars. The physical health, physical activity is one pillar. Diet is one pillar. So once we analyze these factors, then we can say that you have to try to change these things. And once we are bringing change, it is also a process of trial and error. Once we start bringing these changes, the pain should reduce. If the pain is reducing, well, then we are bringing change in the direction. Yes. If the pain is not reducing well, then we have to change other factors. So it is also a trial and error method because every person reacts differently. Mugdha.
So I think a couple of days ago, you had posted a reel about how for some people they refuse to let go of their pain, right? Like it serves a purpose in their life.
Yes.
Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because this I'm sure you spoke about it after you've seen it in your practice for great.
Definitely. See, I was talking about chronic pain. Now, chronic pain is something that you feel for more than 3 months. Okay. Chronic pain is something that you feel for more than 3 months, or it can be for more than 1 or 2 years. So this is a pattern that we have observed in people who are mostly in retired age, who are around the age of 50 or 60, who are in retired age. So these are the people who love to be in pain because when they are in pain, their family gives them attention, their family gives them care, and more often they get what do I say? Just a second. They get a reason to be sedentary because of pain. And if you ask them this question, if there is no pain, what would you be doing in your life? They don't have any answer. This is something that we have observed in a lot of patients, and I like to call this as purpose. See, if you have no purpose, if I ask you the question that what would you do in your life if there is no pain, and if they can't give the answer, then the chances are that they are secretly liking their pain. They are secretly liking their condition, present
because
condition.
It's become an identity. It gives them something to hold on to and pay attention and all of that they get out of it.
For example, let's imagine a grandpa who is 70 years old. Before developing the pain, their kids were not giving their attention. Their family were not giving attention. He has to get up to get a glass of water. He has to get up to do any task. But after developing pain, he says that he can be in his comfort zone. He can say the person is giving them care. Their kids are starting to talk with them. He can order anyone and they will fulfill their order. He likes to be in that lifestyle. So that is something that we have observed in a lot of people who are retired. Because
do you have any strategy for that? How do you get them out of that?
See, it involves. This is the expertise of Dr. Dhairya who works with them. But let me share a few things. We focus at least 1 or 2 months. See, when it comes to people like this, we don't have to just treat them. We have to educate them and their kids as well. We have to encourage their kids that their kids has to encourage them to do that task, and their kids has to make them feel positive that they are going to be with them even if there is no pain. So we have to help them find some purpose when it comes to people without that pain. We have to find that spirit that likes to do things without any pain, right? So we mostly we have developed certain strategies that they can use in order to find that purpose. So we work with a purpose-oriented and we don't work with a pain relief-oriented work. So that is what we have to.
That's amazing. And see, that's why you're here, right, talking about this. Because if you're helping people in their 70s, people who are using pain as a mechanism to kind of feel that they, just to validate their existence, and then you're giving a purpose through your own unique methods. It's pretty amazing that you're doing that. All right. Someone here is asking a question. I'll just quickly ask this question, and then I have more questions to ask you myself. So, sir, I want to ask, when I do exercise, I feel ear blockage. Doctor said my ear have no problem, but it gives me anxiety when it blocks. So, like a pressure build, I don't know what that is. That's your area.
Chaudhary, I need to get more details, like what kind of exercise is it involving inversions, or sometimes this can also happen if you are not breathing well, or even if you are breathing, you may be over breathing. This is also a very common problem in over breathing. So whenever what is over breathing? You are taking more oxygen than you need. That is an example of over breathing. So if you are over breathing, you need to cut down the speed of the exercise. Try to do the exercise slowly so that you can breathe at normal pace and try that stuff. because blockage of ears is a very common sign of overbreathing. That is felt by a lot of new person who are new into exercise.
So, interesting point since you spoke of breathing.
Yeah.
How can I know this, like if people don't breathe fully, if they're doing like contracted shallow breathing, chest breathing, they can experience aches and pains in the body, right? So we can't
Definitely.
recommend that they do breath work exercises like soma breath is something that we recommend. But you must have seen this in your practice as well, right? Like breath is one more reason, improper breathing is one more reason why people get spasms and like
Definitely.
catches.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Breathing is a
So
very
yeah.
breathing is a very contributing factor behind tightness and stiffness that people experience, because it's like input of the factory. If the input is not reaching, the factory shuts down. So basically, the factory here I'm talking about is muscle. If the oxygen is not reaching to the muscle basically stiffens. So that is a very common physiological reason.
And what is your opinion about stretching? Like pre-workout, post-workout, a lot of people do like these random stretches which they go through mechanically without even understanding what's really happening in the body. So I mean, I'm just curious. I'm asking this question out of my own curiosity. What is your opinion about this kind of stretches and like these things that people do in the gym? Because Kashish has his perspective on that, and I actually kind of agree
I
with the way he goes about it.
No, Mugdha, when it comes to training, I usually don't compartmentalize. That's it. I don't
Right,
compartmentalize. Like, I
right,
don't divide into different segments. Like, this is stretching, this is main training, this is cool down. I don't do it like that. I just
right.
decide the main purpose of today's training. Let's say if my main purpose of today's training is to do push-ups, I will just see if my body is ready to do that push-up. If my body is not ready to do that push-up, I will start with easier progression. I try to keep it as simple as possible. I never compartmentalize into different stuff like
And
stretching
when you
and
say
other
body
stuff.
is not ready, the indicator is pain itself, right? Like if your
No,
body is not
no, no.
ready
The
to do something,
indicator.
or how else would you know that your body is not ready to do something?
There are many ways. If you let's say my main purpose of today's workout is push-ups. Okay. It is a natural feel that will come to you. If you feel that you are not able to do push-ups, you may need to start with an easier regression in order to build that confidence. Let's say if my main goal is push-ups, I will try to get into the plank position. If while going into the plank position, I will see that my wrist feels a little stiff or my shoulder feels a little stiff.
Okay.
I will try a few stretches. If stretching helps me, then I will continue with my push-up. If stretching does not help me, then I will choose an easier regression. Let's say if I can't do push-ups, then I will select knee push-ups. I will do one or two repetitions on knee push-ups, and I will again retest the main push-up. If it is getting better, I will continue with the main push-ups. If not, I will practice the regression on that day. So it's like when it comes to weight training, it is even more simpler. Let's say my main goal is to do overhead presses using a barbell. Okay, I will try it with an empty bar. If I try it with an empty bar and if I feel that my shoulder is a little stiff, I can't. If I stretch it, it will help me. Then I ask them to stretch it out. If stretching is not helping me, then I will just ask them to use another thing instead of barbell.
Okay.
It has to be very simple as possible.
So what is the purpose of exercise?
It depends on person to person. See, exercise is not the purpose. Exercise is a tool to reach that
Exactly.
purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, exercise is not the purpose. Exercise is a tool to that purpose. I ask this thing: what do you want to do in your life that involves physical activity? So I ask this question. So someone say that they want to achieve handstand. Someone says that they want to skyclimb without any pain. Someone says that they want to get up from ground without using any support. So that is the purpose. And exercise is list of movements that you use in order to achieve that purpose. So that is my take on. By definition of WHO, exercise is something that increases your heart rate and increases the temperature of muscle. But that is not practical definition, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. See, for me, like for example, the entire purpose of doing workouts is to ensure that I can get through my day without,
Exactly.
or until I'm alive on this planet, I can get through my life without really needing extrinsic support like crutches or anything. Like my body should be functional
Yes,
the way it is designed to be functional. I'm not
definitely.
somebody who's aiming to be like, winning bodybuilding
Yes, yes.
championships or anything like that, right? My work is basically desk indoor work, but I still would not want to lose my muscle mass and would not want to have the
Hmm.
fallout of not utilizing all the limbs in my body. So that's the purpose of why I
Yeah,
weight train and
training.
why I work out. And
Definitely.
sometimes occasionally I've attempted to do some endurance stuff like trail walkers and stuff like that, and that shows me where I'm actually failing in my body. So
Mhm.
yeah, so I think that perspective of exercise is also what I agree on. Like a lot of people use exercise to lose weight, and I think that's like a very backhanded
Not
approach.
perspective. It's a
Yeah,
very
very
long
bad.
perspective. Yes.
So I've known of people who actually end up with a lot of injuries, like people who take up running because they think that's the best
Great.
exercise ever. I know there are a lot of
Definitely.
people who are into running who are also watching this. But what is your perspective on that? Because people just start running on the road thinking like running is a good thing to do, and then they don't know much about how the rest of their body is functioning, and they end up with injuries and they lose more time because of these injuries. Like, so what would
Definitely.
you say would be a good thing for a beginner to start off with? Somebody who's lost movement completely, like lost the beyond doing like basic household stuff. They're not doing anything beyond that. So where should
Yes.
someone begin if they have to start digging with
Okay. So
minimal damage to their body?
see, the first concept that I explain people is about general physical preparedness. So whatever your goal is, you have to build up that preparedness to do that goal or achieve that goal. Okay, if my goal is to do push-ups, but if I'm not even able to do one push-up, then my first goal should be to build that general preparedness in order to build that goal, right? In order to do that portion. So first thing that I ask people to do is educate yourself. What are the regressions of the goal that you want to achieve? It can be anything. If your goal is to do running, what are the regressions? The first regression is walking regularly, right? So I ask them to master the easier versions before progressing to difficult versions. Okay, so that's a very simple thing, right? It's like you have to learn multiplications, but you have to learn addition first. So the same thing goes here. I first ask them what is your goal. I just help them to fix a goal something. Like we don't work without an object or without a goal. We help them to set up a goal. If the goal is to get better at activities of daily living, then we form a way where their physical activity is increased. For example,
Okay.
uh, for example,
What would that look like for somebody who's
yes,
maybe now
yes,
working from home 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day?
definitely.
How would
See,
you incorporate this into their lives?
let's say their goal is to get up from ground without support. Okay. So
Okay.
instead of practicing squatting pattern or instead of practicing any kind of squat, I will just ask them to set up a Google reminder and set up a Google reminder at every 2 hours, and whenever the reminder rings, they just have to get up from chair for 5 to 10 times. So over a period of their work schedule, they are getting up from their chair for at least 50 to 100 times. And over a period of time, that skill of getting up from chair is going to translate into getting up from ground without any support. And in that entire process, we didn't practice any squatting. So that is how we modify. So let's take an example of pain as well. If someone asks that they are feeling shoulder pain when they are working a lot, so what we'll do is we will ask them to set up a Google reminder. But instead of getting up from the chair, we'll select a different pattern. Let's say at every 2 hours, whenever the reminder rings, you just have to take a water bottle and just do 5 or 10 overhead presses.
Okay.
Over a period of time, the capacity and endurance of the shoulder will increase, and over a period of time, the pain will start reducing in the shoulder. So there is one thing that we use to modify their pattern of working. So obviously it depends on the assessment and examination, but this is a technique this is a way we try to modify their life. So instead of focusing on exercise, which you just do for 1 hour in a day, we just ask them to ask them to increase their overall movement.
Yeah. So
So
that makes
that is.
sense, right? Like
Hmm.
even when people come to us for nutrition, we we look at like a permanent and a sustainable solution that they can implement for the rest of their lives, right? Not like, oh,
Exactly.
come here for a 3 month plan and we'll help you lose 20 kgs and then after 3 months you will
Exactly.
gain it and then pay us again. And like we don't do that at all, right? Because
Definitely,
it's
Mugdha.
these small
Hmm.
microscopic changes that you actually make on a daily basis that will contribute to significant returns in the longer run versus like suddenly doing something like, oh, you do intermittent fasting for 5 days and then you lose weight and then again you're back to your bad patterns, right? So yeah, I
Definitely,
absolutely see
Mugdha. You guys are focusing on educating them. and that is what we are focusing on as well, right? Because if there is no education, there is not going to be any independence, and they are going to be dependent on any service provider. That is not our goal, right? Our goal is to make
That's
them
beautifully
independent.
put. It really is beautifully put because it's really about that, right? It's
Hmm.
not about recurring revenue. It's really about helping
Exactly,
someone become independent.
independent, and that's what we. And for
So,
that independence, we have to teach them. That's it.
so if you had to give people three takeaways from this conversation, one is of course like move more is something that we said that it doesn't have to be a workout in the gym now. The gym's also closed in most places. So it doesn't have to be a workout. But apart from the moving more bit, three takeaways that you could give to people who are listening to this or who might watch this sometime in the future. What is it that they could start doing today? Apart from the Google reminder to kind of get up and move, what else could they do?
Start by very simple walking. Walking is one of the most underrated exercise that most underrated exercise. Okay, walking has a lot of evidence in reducing back pain, neck pain, shoulder stiffness. It is one of the exercises that people are not utilizing. And walking is the thing. Walking on two legs is the thing that separates us from animals. No animal can walk on two legs. So practice walking as much as you can. That is the most fundamental thing that I will ask to anyone. See, in fact,
But
most
even
of
if
our
they're
patients.
experiencing pain, like we had one patient who was clinically obese, and for him walking beyond a certain number of steps because his entire posture, his hips, everything was out of alignment because of many years of excess weight, right?
Hmm,
So for him, even walking was really painful. So like
you.
I didn't know you at that time, and we didn't know what we could do for him, right? So we just asked him to find a local trainer that could come and work with him.
Hmm,
But
hmm.
what does one do if they experience walking, like even in joints and all? Na? After just walking for a little bit, also they start experiencing pain. Do they continue with it? Does the body adapt? What happens?
No, 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 no. See, it is a lot stressful. If walking is a lot stressful, then you have to do certain movements that are possible in lying positions or in sitting
Okay,
positions. Okay,
okay,
you can lie around and you can wiggle your legs. You can even walk in line. We call this as supine and prone line, where you are basically lying on the ground and you are just raising both the legs on alternate
oh, you're
basis.
mimicking the
That
walking
is
movement.
exactly, that is the most rigorous version of walking. Then we can do the same thing in sitting position. You can sit and you can raise one hip alternately. That is another regression of walking.
Okay.
So, and third thing is getting up. Obviously, if you can't walk, then at least practice standing. Try to stand under a certain limit which is not painful. See, first of all, you have to find out the present limit. For example, if you
Hmm.
can't walk, just first find out how long you can't walk. If you can't walk for more than 10 minutes, then at least practice walking for 5 minutes. So that is what we do. Okay, work under your limits and expand that thing. Don't work beyond your limits, work under your limits and expand that thing. So it is a process that has to come from inside out, not from outside. It cannot be forced from outside. No form of outside treatment is going to help in long term. The
Right.
change has to come from inside of them. So that is what we do.
So, I mean, you're a physiotherapist and you work very differently. Like in my own case, when I had the neck spasm, for example, I did go for X-rays and MRIs and all of that, and I did go through the therapies, which were like ultrasound and all of those external
Hmm.
therapies, and
Yes.
they seemed to help for that evening when I got the therapy, and then the next, like within 24 hours, the pain was back again, right? So
Exactly.
what is your opinion of those? Because I mean, when I asked them, I didn't really get an answer that made sense to me. So I just stopped doing that. Yeah.
See, they are definitely of use, but it is like double-edged sword. Okay, you have to understand that killing the pain doesn't mean the treatment has ended.
Hmm.
I initially explained that pain is a signal that
Right.
is requesting a change in your lifestyle. Our goal is to bring a change in our lifestyle. Our goal is not to kill the pain. But
Right.
sometimes, Mugdha, yeah, the pain can be so much that we can't bring a change in our lifestyle. But for that, they have to educate their patient that once the pain is gone, you have to do this things in order to bring a change in your lifestyle. But that process is missing. So
Right.
what we do is we don't focus on pain relief. We focus on increasing pain tolerance over a period of time, and that is the only long-term solution: increasing pain tolerance. we can only increase pain tolerance by stressing the body, and we need to stress under certain parameters. So once you
So
are
when you're
stressing
saying
the body,
increased pain tolerance, you're basically saying you're going to strengthen the body by creating stress as the body adapts to that challenge and then becomes
exactly,
stronger and then tolerate
exactly,
higher levels of pain.
exactly. See, imagine. See, I can explain you very simple with the bottle. Imagine this is the pain. The water is the pain, and the bottle is your muscle strength. So instead of reducing the water, we focus on making the bottle big.
Okay.
Understood?
Wow. So you perceive lesser and lesser and lesser
Hmm.
and get bigger and stronger in the process.
Yes, we don't focus on reducing the water. That is pain. We focus on making the bottle big. That is strengthening the body. So pain
Wow.
level automatically reduces.
Cool.
So that's a good
That's very
example.
cool. And what's your opinion of massage as a modality to eliminate pain? Because I know a lot of the older patients even. So see, I find massages extremely relaxing, or if done by the right person, just that human touch itself can bring about healing. I don't deny that, right? But
Definitely.
dependency on massages for
Yeah.
like, what is your opinion? Because I see a lot of people just relying purely on massage to kind of feel good and get rid of the pain without addressing the root cause itself. What's your opinion?
Definitely, Mukta. See, you're very right. Even when it comes to massage or any kind of external modalities, the fault is not the modality. The fault is the dependence that people are developing on that modality, and it makes them think that without this, I'm nothing. And that is the change that we see. All the modalities are extremely useful in pain relief, but you have to use them very wisely. They are like double-edged sword. Okay. You have to either it can help you, or if you are becoming dependent on that modality, then the process becomes even more harder. So even with massage is extremely useful. It has a lot of healing. It reduces the pain. But what next? Are you going to bring a change in your lifestyle if the pain is reduced? If not, then the pain is going to come back. So you have to ask yourself, if my pain is not there, what I'm going to do? And focus on doing that thing. Even see, all these external modalities are like tool in managing pain. Okay, but that's not the goal. People think that the pain is gone, that's done. They are going back to their usual lifestyle, which increases the pain. Okay,
Got
so
it.
that is the mistake that people make when it comes to modalities. Modalities are not at the fault.
No, I get what you're saying. I completely get it. But it's the dependence itself. Like, even
Yes.
that's what we tell people. So for there are a lot of people who feel low on energy, who feel fatigued because they have insulin resistance, or they have some underlying health dysfunction, or they have a deficiency, and then they
Yes.
rely on tea and coffee, right, for energy. So
Yes.
I love coffee. I'm a coffee drinker myself, right? But
Okay.
if I drink coffee for energy because I'm feeling
Hmm.
tired and I need a pick me up, then I know something is wrong, right? But
Hmm.
like, if I start depending on coffee just to get through
Exactly.
the day, then I know my body is not creating energy the way it is designed to. And then something is wrong.
Yes.
I have to look to the root cause of that and fix it. And then I avoid coffee until that is fixed. So that's what we tell people
Definitely.
also, right? Like,
Yes.
we can't demonize something because
Hmm.
of your dependence on it. It is the dependence itself that's the
That is
actual
the problem.
problem that we
Yes.
need to address. That's the root cause we need
Yes.
to address.
Yes.
So,
You're very right.
so if people had to find you, like, I'm sure, even in like my community, my tribe members, there are people within, like, either themselves who experience pain or their loved ones, parents, mom, dad, someone who are experiencing pain. If they had to find you, how do they find you? Where are you at? Like, your Instagram handles, your what's your website? If you could share that, and then we'll put that in the show notes as well. But if people had to find you, how would they find you?
Just Google Fitnat, FIT and Fitnat. Or you can write Fitnat India, and you will get a logo which shows a green leaf. That's us. Uh,
Super.
that's us. Our Instagram handle is fitnet.corner. CORNER.
Fitnet.com. Okay.
Corner. Yes, that is our name. That's easy.
Super. So, if anyone has questions, now would be a good time to ask people on Instagram, people on. Someone asked, do you also cover telemedicine? I don't know if the question was addressed to me or it was addressed to Dr. D, but I think the way he works, it is telemedicine. So, yes is the answer to that. Any other questions if someone has? We could wait for a couple of minutes. If not, is there anything else that you want to add, Dr. D?
Uh, with respect to any topics, do you want to need to
Anything
cover any
that I did
topics?
ask you, or anything that you think people should listen to, that the audience should know, anything that you want to share, please go
Okay.
ahead.
So till the entire session we have talked about importance of physical activity and physical capacity, right? But we didn't talk about strength training or strengthening the muscles. Now the first goal, if you are becoming physically active in your life, what's next? You have to try to form a habit of strength training. Strength training is about challenging your muscles up to a certain limit. Not too easy, not too difficult, but challenging your muscles up to a certain limit. And you have to form a habit of challenging those muscles on a periodic basis. See, when we were living in primal era, we just face a lot of physical challenges, and that the challenges kept us healthy, that kept us ready, that kept us physically prepared for any task. See, most of the people Mugdha experience pain after doing any sudden activity, like they have to suddenly walk a lot, and they will suddenly bend over to pick something. They suddenly get up from the chair. They have to stair climb, they lift something. So that is a deprived physical preparedness, right? So once we have worked on our physical activity and once we have worked on our physical capacity, the time comes to work on our strength. And by the word strength, you can strength train at any age. You just have to find out a few movements, just two or three movements where you just have to challenge yourself. Once you challenge yourself on a periodic basis, that is the thing that is going to increase your pain tolerance. That is the thing that is going to protect you from further developing any joint conditions. Or there are thousands of evidence that suggests that strength training is extremely helpful for your joint health. So that is one of the biggest things that you can work upon as an investment for the future. That is it. That
It's
is
a
it.
very valid point given today's time, right? Because we keep researching COVID and like the long COVID syndrome, and I mean we do work with that as well. And there was a research paper, I should share that with you, which showed that
Definitely.
people who did strength training actually had quicker recovery times and like very minimal impact of even a positive COVID infection, right? So,
Definitely.
I mean, like that's today's times, today's stories where like the entire world is under a lockdown and strength training is showing to have such a
Positive
big
result.
impact more than the medicines and all of that. So, yeah, that's a very valid
Definitely.
point. Someone's asking, proprioception for normal people, is it important?
Procure proprioception for normal people, is it important?
Sorry.
Proprioception. Okay.
Proprioception for normal people, is it important?
See, without proprioception, there is not going to be any movement. Okay, proprioception is important, but we
What
should
does it
not.
mean for people who don't know what it means, including like I just think it means awareness of the space around you, but I might be totally wrong.
See, proprioception is a sensory aspect of movement. Basically, you are sensing your joint, your body, and the surrounding around you. That is proprioception. Okay, if you are walking on the floor, you are analyzing the objects that are on the floor. You are analyzing the weight that you are bearing on the floor. Obviously, it is important, but not that important that you are engaging in increasing proprioception without focusing on the movement. Okay, proprioception is automatically going to get work if you are being physically active, if you are strength training. It is
So how
something
would
which
people just work on that and not on movement? Like closing your eyes and balancing would be an example or something. Okay.
proprioception, there are there are lots of complex exercises for proprioception, which is complicated for no reason. They might be helpful in certain neurological cases, neurological people who face neurological challenges.
Right.
They are really helpful in that. We use a lot of proprioceptive exercises in them, but for most of us who are neurologically healthy, then they are not that necessary. There are tons of proprioceptive exercises, but not that necessary.
There's a question on what's your take on shoulder impingement?
Yes. Hi, Yash. So, first of all, impingement is always happening. There is no such thing where impingement is not happening. Impingement is always happening. Without impingement, we cannot move or raise our
Sorry,
shoulder.
I don't know what this is. What is
Okay.
impingement?
Let me explain it to you. Shoulder impingement is a condition where, see, there are bones here, right? There is humerus here and there is scapula here. So sometimes what happens is that there is tissue that is coming between these bones whenever we do certain activities. like overhead activities, mostly in overhead activities. Okay, sometimes in extension, but mostly in overhead activities. So impingement is a term that doctors use when they are feeling, when the person is feeling pain in certain movements, not in other
Okay.
movements. For example, shoulder can do a lot of movements. It can push forward, it can pull backward, push upwards, it can pull downwards, it can do a lot of movement. So if someone feels pain only in specific patterns, they generally use the word shoulder impingement. But impingement is always normal. There is no such thing as your shoulder cannot move without impinging anything. It is like pinching of the surface, which is going to happen. So whenever someone is having shoulder impingement, the goal should not be to reduce the impingement. The goal should be to increase tolerance in that movement. For example, if I feel pain in overhead presses, so instead of directly pressing overhead and instead of stopping this overhead pattern, I will try to make that pattern more and more stronger. I will start with the easier variations and I will end up doing tougher variations. But when it comes to fitness, people who are feeling shoulder impingement are those who are training without tracking their volume and intensity. So these are the people who end up doing a lot of things. These are the people who usually either are overtraining themselves or are under recovering themselves. So your body generally decreases this tolerance over a period of time, because if you are training without tracking your volume and intensity, then your body's rate of adaptability reduces over time, and in fact your training starts injuring you instead of helping you. So we call this as fitness syndrome. Fitness syndrome basically means your fitness activities are damaging you instead of helping you. So for that, the first thing you need to understand is that you have to find out your right volume and intensity of training. And once you find the right volume and intensity, you have to modulate that volume and intensity. You have to periodize that thing. You can't train at the same volume and intensity for the lifetime. Okay, you have to modulate that.
You kind of did in my case, I think, right? You
Yes,
the volume
yes,
intensity. It's
yes,
really good. So my
yes.
question, the next question, because you said the R word, which is recovery, is what role does recovery and what is recovery? Is it sleep? Is it the interval between your workouts? Is it the food you're eating? Is it the amount of protein? What is really recovery when it comes to strength training and the stress challenge that you're giving to your body?
See, that's an excellent question. Recovery is the time your body is taking to adapt to those stresses. So basically, whenever we are training, we are stressing our body. Whenever we are stressing, we are bringing certain amount of minute damage to our body. And recovery is the time that your body is taking in order to recover from those damages. Okay, in order to adapt to that damages. This is let me explain you by very famous method in karate. Okay, or martial art. A lot of people in martial art punch their knuckles on the wall. They create micro fractures on the knuckles.
Right.
Then they rest for a month. Then again after a month they will break these knuckles by hitting their knuckles on the wall. Then they will take again the rest. So by doing this over a period of time, what they are doing is they are increasing tolerance of this thing. They are increasing tolerance and they are making these knuckles very strong in order to hit someone. This is very old school method. So the period that they are taking between that stuffs of stress, that is what we call it as recovery. So it is different from person to person. Let's say I'm doing push-ups. And that push-ups created some form of physical damage in my muscles and some form of physical, let's not call it damage, let's call it changes. Some form of physical changes in my muscles, in my joints. Your body needs some time in order to recover from that changes. Your body is always constantly craving for balance. So until your body is creating that balance, the time period is what we call it as recovery. And it depends on your lifestyle, it depends on your stress, it depends on your sleep level, and it depends on your nutrition. If you are not taking sufficient or good amount of nutrition, it is going to challenge this thing.
But does age have anything to do with it? Do you recover slower when you're older?
More than age, it's the person's past that is important. If person is having an active or strong past, or if the person in his past is having an habit of strength training, is having a habit of physical activity, then that person is definitely going to have faster recovery. So this is the reason why, right, armies, gymnasts, elite level of Olympic athletes, they train for 5-6 hours. And their training is not even our training is not even the warm up, I would say. It's because they have adapted their body with respect to that thing, right? So it depends on their past experience, not on their age directly. Age plays a role, definitely age plays a role. But instead of giving reasons on our age, we should give reasons on
No, no,
our
I'm not
activity.
like finding reason. I'm just wondering, right? Like, see,
Yes,
like for
yes, yes.
example, when it comes to digestion, we know that stomach acid levels
Hmm.
start becoming lesser as people age. It's called hypochlorhydria.
Definitely.
So when you have
Definitely.
hypochlorhydria, then the ability to absorb protein starts going down. Plus,
Decreases.
your
Yes.
bowel motility, your gut motility slows down as you
Reduces.
age, which means again the amount of protein absorption in your gut. So there are like actual physiological biochemical changes which might impact your protein absorption. Like that, I wanted to know if age also has something to do with the recovery in terms of, but that is
Yes.
interesting. So it's not really age as much as it is the past. And how does
Yes.
one know that they recovered sufficiently for the next workout? How does one know?
By trying and testing it out. See, that's what the purpose of warm-up is, right? You have to just try it out. If you are ready to do the main job warm-up, if you are not ready, if the body is not ready, you will don't.
Hmm.
See, let's take, I gave you the example of push-ups, right? I will just get into the plank position, I will have a conversation with my body, and this is actually what is listening to our body, right? Everyone on Instagram says that you need to listen to our body, but no one does it. So that's how you listen to your body, by trialing and testing it out. Right? You have to try it out, you have to test it out. If the body is saying no, then don't do it. If the body is ready, if the body is craving for more of it, then do it. That
Yeah,
is
for me
what.
personally, I've seen that like if my mind is unfocused, if there are too many things going on like with work and like if my mind has too much to figure out, right? Like just the algorithms are running continuously, then even like I don't do heavy weights now anymore, right? I'm doing
Hmm.
smaller weights and higher volume. But even that 2.5 becomes hard for me. Like even 3 reps with that becomes hard if the mind
Definitely.
is not centered. So for
Definitely.
me, I know that plays a big, big role, but I don't know
Hmm.
if enough people even make that connection when they actually go for their workouts, right?
See,
But
they have to first start training in order to make these connections, and that is the first step that we need to motivate people for. Okay, because the world is entirely different when you are exercising, and the world is entirely different when you are not exercising, and we have to
right.
consider different factors in both of these worlds.
Cool. That was a lovely, lovely interaction. We are close to an hour. I usually say that it's going to be 45 minutes, but always the guests are so amazing that like I could pick your brain for another hour, I think. But I think it's time that we go. So if any other last question anyone has, or if you missed out on anything, you can just check. But I think that's about it. Thank you so much for answering my questions with such patience. I know most of them were noob level questions, but like while I understand your
No,
question
this
really well, the body, my own body sometimes, like the entire proprioception thing. Even as a kid, I was somebody who would stumble and fall a lot. Like
hmm,
I, even now for me, my hand and eye coordination sometimes is a challenge. Like, I think it's just the way, like I never did too many things as a child to kind of build on that, right? So, thank you so much for being here and answering
it,
all
it
the
was
questions.
it was really a pleasure to be with you. Your team and your work is really amazing, and I wish all the
My
good
team
luck
is
to you
amazing,
guys.
I agree. And yes, the work we do is good, but the work you do is amazing as well because you help someone like me over one phone call. So thank you so much. And if Dr. D, his team, they are doing phenomenal work in the area of helping people really use their bodies the way a human body is meant to be used and make the most out of it. So if you guys want to reach out to him on Instagram, he is Fitnat Corner. You could just Google Fitnat and Dr.
Fitness India.
Dhairya,
Hmm.
Fitnat India, and you'll find his website. And they're extremely responsive. They're very quick to answer. So I'm going to end it here. And thank you so much.
Thank you,
And
Mugdha.
I think we'll be in touch because we are thinking of
Definitely.
your team coming on board for the academy as well. So for those of you who are watching this, Thrive also has an academy where we teach functional nutrition to people who are interested in learning the work we do. And we were talking to Dr. D and his team. They could come on board and teach the anatomy and the physiology piece for us. And we saw some of that happen. And just looking forward to that. All right. Thank you so much. So you have a great evening and bye bye.
Same to you, Mugdha. Bye bye.